Okay.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
My name is Darren.
I'm Graham.
And I have seen a film that's title I cannot remember. Is it The Lady in the Van or The Woman in the Van?
Lady.
Okay, I have seen the film The Lady and the Van. And that is the kind of facts you're going to be getting throughout this next 10 minutes. You have not seen said film. What?
It's just yeah. I might have said that because it sounds like Lady in the Tramp. Not Lady in the Tramp.
Well, that
Lady...
would be ironic because she is a tramp.
No way.
Do you not know anything about this
I
film?
literally know nothing, but I would like to see it soon.
Okay.
It's still out in the cinema.
Yeah, it's out quite a lot. It's very good. I saw it today.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I had spit in the back of my throat.
Right, okay.
Sorry, thank you for making sure
no,
I was
it's
okay.
okay. It's just sounded like you were having trouble.
I was. So, the film is about...
Trump.
Oh, do you know anything about Alan Bennett?
No.
Oh, embarrassed himself.
A little bit.
What do you know?
I know.
What do you know about Alan Bennett?
Anything. Nothing.
Nothing at all.
His name has got 2 sets of double letters.
Has it?
Oh,
not
3
next
sets?
to each other.
No. Is it spelled with 1 T?
I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm as ignorant to Alan
Wow.
Bennett as you.
Hey now.
Almost.
Hey now.
So
Go
yeah,
on
so
then.
it's
Explain to me.
written by Alan
Tell
Bennett
Me. Tell me.
about the time that
Oh, he's a writer.
yes, Alan Bennett's a writer. Sorry to laugh. Yeah, he's a writer. He does like plays and stuff, and often well, I don't know if he still does it now, but they're like monologues, and he would do the monologue on stage,
really?
talking about like, and he's
Was
like,
he an actor as well then?
I guess it's the cross between theatre and stand-up, because
Is that a thing? Has he invented a new kind
well,
of...
he did a monologue. How much actor? Yes, he's a bit of an actor. He dabbles in acting.
Yeah,
but he's like northern, and that's like, and so like when all his
is he local?
not anymore, because we're northern as well.
Not anymore.
Well, I don't think he still lives.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I thought you
I
meant
think
he's
he's
dead.
moved. No,
Okay.
no, he's not dead. So all his stuff is
he's
about
old.
quaint things. You know, it's like, oh, the vicar came around for tea. He had a musty smell about him. That kind of thing.
Oh.
Yeah, so typical like, but with like
Twee,
little
British.
Yeah, and slightly curmudgeonly. So it's like
Okay.
oh, I was trying to do my dusting.
Yeah,
And he's got a voice that everyone impersonates.
So it's kind of like stereotypical northern kind of...
Well, I don't know. I mean, what do you call a stereotypical northern? Because there's
It
multiple.
encapsulates a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. Okay, all right, never mind. Move on.
Okay, so the film's bizarre considering like
Wait,
we've
wait,
just
so
said,
how does this tie in?
because he's the writer of the film.
Oh, I see.
And
you could have just said that.
Well, no, because there's more to it than that. He's also the main character twice in the
So
film.
he is an actor?
Not there's a character, not him. So he's got an actor playing him.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
He didn't direct it either, by the way.
Okay.
So the film is about a time in his life, because it's a biopic as well. So it's very intrinsic that I explain to you who Alan Bennett is.
Okay, all right.
So the film is
Okay.
based on a true story from Alan Bennett's actual life. Yeah.
But it's a lady.
No, there's a lady in it.
In the van.
Yes.
In the film.
Yes.
There's a lady in the van in the film.
Yes.
That
Which is based on a
Bennett
lady in a
wrote.
van in a real life. So let me just explain the story.
Okay, all right.
So, Alan Bennett is a playwright, as we've discussed, and there's an old trampy woman who has a van, and she just pulls up, and that's where she lives. So she lives in the van, and all the neighbours are like, oh, hope she moves along to somebody else's house soon.
Oh.
And eventually she moves to Alan Bennett's house, and
Like if Paddington was a skunk.
if Paddington was a trampy old lady with shitting problems.
Shit problems.
She does have shitting problems. Well, she's incontinent. Anyway, so eventually she moves her van up to Alan Bennett's house. He starts bonding with her a bit, but in his kind of curmudgeonly way.
Alan Bennett, the screenwriter.
Well,
The playwright.
both. The character of Alan Bennett's in the film. The
So
character of
this is a
the old
biopic,
woman.
So this really happened
Yes.
to the...
So it's happening in the film to the
Right.
character, but it also
Okay.
happened to the actual
In
guy.
his diary it happened as well.
Yeah, and his life.
Yeah, okay.
So she gets to him. She then has to move, but he kind of feels sorry for her. He says, "Why don't you put your van on my drive
Oh.
for a few months?" He's gay in real life,
Oh.
so
I mean...
I don't think he'd be going for a trampy woman.
Oh, never mind. Carry on.
So yeah, so he says, "Why don't you put your van on my path for a few months until you can find somewhere to put it?"
Don't
and
worry,
then she
I'm
stays
gay.
for
I'm not gonna go
15
on.
years.
She stays for 50... I thought she said she was really old.
She
And she's
is
incontinent.
really old. She is incontinent. It's a daily problem for him. Like
For him.
Yeah.
Not for her.
Well, you kind of see it more from his point of view. And just to complicate things, there's 2 Alan Bennetts in the film. So there's Alan Bennett. It's kind of like an imaginary friend type thing. So there's Alan Bennett, the writer, who never leaves the house, and he always just stays, and he's always writing down everything. And then there's Alan Bennett, who goes out and he just lives his normal life, and then he reports back to the writer Alan Bennett, who then writes about it.
Just a report,
We didn't have to, but it's like they're almost like a married. The 2 Alan Bennett's like a married couple. Oh God, I promise it works quite well in
they
the film.
brought a lady into this, an incontinent old lady into this
Yeah.
mix.
So if you can imagine, so it, essentially, basically, that character of Alan Bennett talks to himself.
You've lost. This sounds awful.
Oh no,
You've
it's really
lost me,
good.
You've lost me.
We're halfway, 5 minutes in, and I'm still trying to tell you the plot.
Ugh.
So yeah, Alan Bennett talks to himself, and the way they have him
Too
talk to
complex.
himself is there's two Alan Bennetts. One of them's just writing everything down. One of them who lives his life and goes about and reports back. And they kind of bicker. You know, one of them will say like, "You write it down." The other one will say, "Well, you're meant to be living it," kind of thing.
Right.
That kind of thing. Okay, now. So that's the story in a nutshell. What do you want to know? You still look pained.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So is there any other film that I can relate this to? Is this like
yeah,
Brick?
like no.
Like
I almost don't remember what it's about, but in terms of like the mixture between kind of slight surrealism and kind of kitchen sink drama-ishness, I would say maybe that Eric Cantona movie by Ken Loach, whatever it's called.
Finding Eric.
Is it Finding Eric?
I think so.
Yeah, very
Or Looking for Eric or something. Like
looking for Cantona. I don't know.
that. Finding Cantona.
That one. If it's, I mean, how many Ken
Something
Loach
like
Eric
that.
Cantona
Yeah,
movies
just search
are there?
Cantona if you're interested.
Well, I'm talking to you.
Oh.
Unless you're talking to the other Graham.
Yeah.
So yes, it's a bit like that. So, but anyway, so it's really good. It's really, really funny. It's really sad. Well, no, it's not really sad. It has.
Funny, sad.
It's a mixture. It's a
old
range
people.
of emotions. You know, like
Reminds me of Harold and Maude.
only in the sense that there's a really strong character that's an old woman,
Okay.
which is rare, obviously.
Has she got a similar kind of attitude? Like she's been
No,
through
the
it all?
complete opposite.
Oh, right.
Because
okay.
obviously Maud and Harold and Maud is like really kind of full of life, and
Yeah.
whereas the old woman in the whatever this film's called is a proper sort of miserable old bitch.
Oh.
Yeah.
So she's negative. She's
Yeah,
not
she's
just
completely,
like
she hates everything. So like,
Oh,
you know, when
right,
he
right.
says to her like, "Why don't you come on my drive?" She's like, "Well, it might be inconvenient for me."
right.
Like,
Okay.
like she won't take anything.
sees
you know?
the issue in her own
Yeah.
situation.
But at the same time, because he's the same, he's kind of curmudgeonly and like, oh, everything's a problem for him.
yeah.
But you know, in both cases, it's just a shield. You know, and they're both two vulnerable people, and they probably both need each other to a degree as much as the other needs them.
Mm.
And like, there's a kind of insinuation that she's kind of like a substitute for his mum because he's kind of neglecting his mum but looking after her. And
Oh.
but yeah, but it's really, really funny and it's really good. And there's, you know, it might sound highbrow as in that it's like a sort of kitchen
High
sinky
concept. It is high concept.
well,
Jesus.
yeah, it is kind of a bit. But you know, there is jokes where we like steps. You know, somebody says like, because she lives in a van, like, what does she do about the toilet? And he says plastic bags, apparently. And then it'll cut to him
Apparently.
like walking up his drive and standing in her shit and stuff like that.
Jesus Christ.
Or there's one bit where she's tried to put it in the bin, but it's like mist, and you see Maggie Smith's shit hanging over the side of a bin.
Jesus Christ.
And then he's like poking it with a stick to try and get it in. And it's got kind of like loads to say like about like middle class guilt and stuff. Like they all put up with this stinky old lady in the road because it makes them feel good about themselves.
Oh, okay,
It's
okay.
like if we put up, they all hate her,
Yeah,
and they
yeah,
can't
yeah.
wait for her to move on so she's someone else's problem. But whilst they're their problem, her, you know, they all pretend like, oh, you know, she's fine. We'll bring her a drink out, even
Yeah.
though she's like fuck off and stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Um,
Let's keep her up a beer.
yeah, and it's got Roger Allam, who we're talking about in the Speed Racer video because we do other videos. And I really love Roger Allam, so it's nice to see him in something else again.
Yeah.
Looks like he's lost weight as well, so good one, Roger.
Good for him.
Good, Rog.
Good job.
The only thing that I would say that I could criticise with slightly is that it didn't seem obvious to me that time was flowing quite as quickly as it was. So the whole film could almost take place over, I don't know, a month. But then, I don't know, an hour into the film they go, she's been there 10 years. And you think, bloody hell, actually? You didn't make that very obvious.
All right.
But
Well-
then maybe it's because I saw Boyhood the other day,
right.
and I know 5 years had passed because the kid had suddenly hit puberty.
yeah. Well,
Um,
I guess Maggie Smith can't possibly age anymore.
Well, you say that, but then there's a flashback to her being slightly younger, because I just assumed she looked like she does in the film in real life, but not as trampy. But age-wise, there's a
Yeah.
bit where they cut back, and you're looking at it thinking like, Jesus, this is an amazing
Yeah.
performance for somebody who's knocking at death's door.
Yeah.
But then they cut back to her a little bit younger, and I thought, oh, she looks old, but she doesn't look like as haggardy as she does there. But what I will say is that it was an absolutely phenomenal performance by her, like genuinely amazing. Like,
Really?
yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm saying anything too revolutionary to say that Maggie Smith is a good actor.
No, I know. But
Um,
even at this point,
But well, that's the thing, isn't it? Like, rarely do women of her age get prominent roles in movies.
stay alive that long?
Yeah, and they should, because I mean, Judi Dench was really good in Philomena.
So she went blind.
Well, she's still really good. It's not her, you know. I don't care how she learns her lines. So yeah, I suppose it kind of reminded me a bit of Philomena as well, because the nuns are involved in this one as well. Like,
Oh, are they?
perhaps she's in the situation
Well,
she is
bloody hell.
because of the shittiness of religion.
Did you say perhaps as in you don't learn? Or
No, you
saying
do.
perhaps?
I'm trying to
Okay.
tell you what it
That's
is
what
whilst... I wouldn't have
Okay.
mentioned it if it wasn't the case.
Yeah.
But
I
I'll
was
be
just-
ambiguous
yeah.
about it anyway.
I was wondering if the film was ambiguous as well.
Yeah, and there's it's one of those where like when she's happy, you get really happy with her because she's never happy.
never
so,
happy.
so like, but it's funny at the same time, like because she's really miserable all the way through. Then there's a bit where she takes herself to the beach and she's on like a merry-go-round, and it's like a kid's one, but she's got the biggest smile on her face and she's just going in circles.
Revelationary.
Yes, yes, Maggie Smith, who knew?
Brilliant actor.
Yes, the guy who plays Alan Bennett's really good. I mean, he's kind of like a cross between a performance and an impression. So there's an actor playing him. Anyway, so that's all I have to say on that film, but it's really good. Go and see it.
Did they not hire like twins?
No,
Like the Craig
Well,
movie.
Yeah, what you mean the one with fucking Spandau Ballet, the Kemp twins?
yeah. Wait, what?
What?
No.
What you mean?
What?
Well, obviously you don't mean the one with Tom
No.
Hardy,
I
'cause
mean,
there's-
I'm thinking of the Weasleys, the brothers.
you confused
Fred
the
and
Weasley
George.
brothers with the Cray twins.
I was thinking of films with twins, and then.
Bye, everyone. Oh, also, it's got the entire cast of the History Boys in this film because it's directed by the same person, and the History Boys film is also based on a play by Alan Bennett.
Clint Eastwood.
The History Boys. There's a film called The History Boys based on a play by the History Boys written by Alan Bennett. This is directed by that same director who did the film, and so as a little nod to that, I guess he's got all the prominent cast. So like Dominic Cooper pops up, which is always good, but it's kind of weird because like 3 seconds. The downside to this is James Corden also shows up for literally 3 seconds. The upside is it is just for 3 seconds. I do not like James Corden.
Who does?
Yeah, well, annoyingly, a lot of people. He's bastardizing some song right now with Kylie Minogue.
Oh yeah. People
Anyway.
hate it. Anyway.
People love it. I hate it.
Fans of Kylie hate it.
Good. Bye, everyone.